Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, Freeform, thinking right out here in the lab with nothing on but the pyramids, doing what I do for you. It ain't the wee hours in the morning, I got a Saturday afternoon, so I'm going to share some time with my people. I got to miss you guys. I got something to say. Good lesson today. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storyteller, story with a message. Message is story for life. Another life lesson. You tuning in and receiving it, I'm going to keep giving it to you. I really appreciate that. Right thinking's mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment, raising that CSR, is the cerebral spinal fluid. Yeah, that's the idea, or AKA Kundalini rising. Excuse me. That's today's lesson. Right thinking way of life through mental and spiritual discipline daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is for you to do just that. Your job is to take the lessons and do just that. Know thyself. This is the question. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. You teach them. That's what I do. I do for you. Stay tuned. I got you. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows but knows not that they know is asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock. I'm here to wake you up with knowledge of self. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself. Until my app be true. Today, I've been on this Christ kick trying to explain to my Christian friends and family about the Christ and the concept of what it represents. So we ain't gonna beat that horse back and forth. But let's get into my lesson today. It's called Right Think. Let's talk about things it take to do on becoming Heru, aka Christ-like, or Christ, or aka knowing thyself. All of that's the same thing, just said different. But the work you have to do is all the same for everybody. Righteous living, righteous lifestyle, spiritual discipline, all that good stuff. All right. And if you're Christian, Muslim, or Jew, you follow the tenets, and it works just as good for that. Trust me. I have no problem with that. Again, let me talk about what I know about. The rule per M Heru, okay, aka from a lot of people, the Book of the Dead, but really is the book of coming forth by day, or it should be the book of becoming Heru, because it's going to teach you how to be your best self. It's called spiritual disciplines, aka I call it spiritual discipline. It was aka Maya philosophy. It's my book. Keep it with me. I'm going nowhere without it. Okay. It's a learning tool. I carry it with me as a teacher, so I keep my tools with me. All right. When I was a gangster, I kept my gun and my drugs with me. Now I just carry my books. All right, here you go. The art or the philosophy of Maya was meant to what? Raise your CSF, aka knowledge of self. But the CFF is Kundalini rising. I taught you that, but they also called it cerebral spinal fluid. I got that medical term doing my studies and getting information. That's what I do. So I can give it to you. But I had to learn it, made a lot of sense. So I try to keep it in the forefront now because a lot of people have no idea what cerebral spinal fluid is. It's the crystals, it's the oil that goes up, and if it's purified, comes back down and brings you gifts. Like Santa Claus. There's another lesson, we did that already. But let me talk about this coming Heru, because that's what I want you to do. Right thinkers, your goal is to become Heru. Okay? That's the hero in you. Become your own hero, so to speak. I mean, slay Goliath. Everybody got to have a Goliath in their life, and you have to slay him, so to speak, philosophically, metaphorically, but symbolically. That's how you push forward and raise your consciousness. And reaching self-mastery only comes when, after all 7 levels of the spiritual truth have been expressed or experienced, excuse me. Rising the Kundalini from the root chakra to the crown chakra is the same thing as becoming Christ-like as a Christian, raising the crystals, the purity of the oil, rising it up, become conscious to hit the third eye. They all got the same concept. They just say it different. I found that out, and I love that concept because it works for those who follow the Christian concept. Bring it to them. Let them understand what it is they're doing. Also, now I'm a master. Not of that, but I'm a master of what I teach, right there in philosophy, spiritual truths, okay? And I live by them. That's what makes me the sage. Not just teaching the philosophy, I live it, become part of what I do, how I live. Next one is, now, again, be your own hero by obtaining knowledge of self and becoming Christ-like by implementing what you learn, and you'll be just like Christ. Mm-hmm. In the words of the greatest black man I know in my lifetime, Muhammad Ali, the greatest love of all is inside you. When you realize that, you become the greatest too. Excuse me. That's the concept. Now, watch this. Knowing thyself is the greatest love of all, and for every human being. Because if you don't enlighten yourself, find yourself, be your best self, it gives a do-over, and your ego consciousness get eaten by Amet. That's the concept, aka you go to hell. Next one. Now, Christians are waiting for Jesus Christ to return. The oil that goes up from the sacrum up to the brain, come back down, that's him coming back. He won't come back physically. It's the concept. It's the oil. I sent the lesson out to a lot of people. I ain't got time to get that class, but yeah. It's a symbolic concept, not a real person. All right, you wait for him to come back to save you. You need to become him and save yourself. That's the concept. That's the original concept. Be your own hero. Save yourself. Don't wait for him to come back because he's coming back in the physical form or the flesh. It's a concept. Wake up and realize who you are and become who you should be. Your best self, Christ-like, Heru, whatever you want to call it. But right thinking philosophy is here to teach you how to become Christ, aka like, or know thyself through what? Righteous, spiritual truths, learning them and living by them. That's how it's done from my concept. In other ways, I'm sure, but I know this way works. I don't know about the other way. I know this way. So if you got to wait to God, God bless you. And he will, because you're doing something to get to him. If you don't, I can help you. That's the best I can do. Watch this. Now, I found the Christ in myself. By what? Becoming knowledgeable and learning and finding out for myself who I am and why I am who I am and how. By studying, living, and professing things that you believe about yourself. You are what you believe you are, even if it's wrong. Christ, aka as the India they call it serpent power, CSF, cerebral spinal fluid by the Christians, or the oil, or the aka crystals by the ancient Greeks. All the same thing. We all have it, okay? Watch this. Christ being anointed, Heru is the CSF, the oil that rises up to the pineal gland and enlightens one to themselves. The spiritual eye is the third eye. Yeah, I'm naked today, got nothing but the pyramid. But the eye represents consciousness. That means I'm awoke. I know myself. I tell my students, the reason why we wrote pictogram and hieroglyphic with a measuring letter is because we was illiterate. We didn't know writing, but we saw pictures. They tell you to this day, picture worth 1,000 words. So a picture say a lot more than words, but we use words to express ourselves, which is the art form that we use language to speak with. But the pictures are still got power. The Greeks, watch this, they called Nihas, aka spiritual enlightenment, the Christos rising. Again, Christhood, anointing, same thing, knowing God, becoming God conscious, or spiritual enlightenment. Nihas, the highest spiritual level you can reach that you can live by. Now in India, it was the serpent power, aka Kundalini, aka it sits dormant until what? Till you activate it with what? Righteous and good deeds. Simple. It's automatic. So people who doing that don't know they're raising their Kundalini or raising the Christos. They just know they're living, doing right, and they're being blessed for it. That's how it's done. Where we at? Okay, Now, when the Kundalini rises or the CSF rises, you become an enlightened being spiritually because you see all conceptually. Egyptians called it twins, Aset, Neptet, aka the twins, Mayate, raising up on Tahuti's staff. You see the two circles go? That's Isis and Nephthys going up to staff for Tahuti. And Moses he only used one serpent. Got it half right. You already got a 50-50 shot. You can get it. It's 50-50 shot, you can get it right, you can get it wrong. Simple as that. Balance. Too much of a good thing ain't good either. Teach about that lesson coming out. I got something for you. Don't worry about it. Here you go, Nate. Lex. Christ is not a real person. Again, it's a concept. It's a prototype, like Mayat philosophy. She ain't a real person, but we give her identity we can relate to. We can philosophically put her in a place that we can worship and live by her moral tenets and say, which for yourself, I have not done these negative things. Okay? So, concept. When you fulfill 42 confessions Mayat 100%, you become Heru. Study. Again, only way you're going to find out and learn it is what? Study and then live what you learn. That's right thinking philosophy. I don't do a whole bunch. No, you study, you learn what you study, you perfect it, and you master it. Now you master yourself. You can call it what you want. But studying and living is the important ingredients to make that cake. Let's go. I don't believe in anything. I study to know the truth about everything I need to know so I can live by those truths, not believe in them. I need to know. Gnosis, Gnostics, knowers. Spiritual discipline over biblical belief is awakening to what? Your higher self power at all times, no matter what. When you know you will conduct yourself in the manner in which you're supposed to. I used to get a podcast. I'm getting better at controlling all those things that I used to not be good at. That's how you perfect your character, not by keep doing the same things. I changed. If you're still doing the same thing, you haven't changed. I changed because I know it's the best thing to do. That's what change is all about. Doing what's best for you. Me being arrogant and nasty and doing things I used to do don't serve me. If you know the truth, watch this, and don't live by them, you're not a right thinker. To know something and don't do it don't make much sense. I'd rather be ignorant and not know than know and don't do it. That makes you stupid. Ignorant is not knowing. Stupid is knowing and still doing what you know is wrong. That's just stupid. I don't call nobody stupid. Why? Because stupid is as stupid does. You can speak for yourself. You do stupid stuff. But for those who are ignorant of what they should do, I don't call them stupid. I just say, let me enlighten you. Let me help you so you can make a better decision with what? Knowledge. If you knew better, you should do better. Ignorant people need to know better so then they can do better. Philosophically, metaphorically, however you want to look at it. All right, here you go. Where we at now? I don't believe, okay. Okay, now, I teach life lessons when? Daily. Why? Because if I'm a master teacher, that's what I do for you. You come get the message. You come get the lesson. I put the lesson out there. That's what a master teacher does. I'm not running behind you. I'm not doing none of that. I put the lesson out there. It's up to you to get it. I teach at the college level. So if you ain't getting it, that's your choice. I just put it out there again. You study, practice what you learn by living and they become your life lessons. When you practice what you learn, those are your life lessons that now you have wisdom. You have knowledge and understanding of what it is you profess. So you know better than anybody about what it is you do or don't do. Simple. AKA knowing thyself. Yeah, okay. That's master yourself again. Raise, last one. When you raise your CSF, cerebral spinal fluid, aka, and become what? God conscious. That's what Christ did. With right, excuse me, become God conscious with right thinking, along with righteous living, you will be fine. And you should enjoy that ride because it's setting you up for the long term. Okay? So you keep performing good deeds and righteous living while you're here. When all else fails, when it's all said and done, your heart get weighed, consciousness in the heart is good, light, pure, light in Maya's feather. Then you go on into the afterlife, aka heaven. Now, if you put your work in, when daily, you will be what? Rewarded when accordingly. Right thinking philosophy is the practice you need to spiritually achieve, aka knowledge of self, through what? Study, learning, and living. That's the ingredients. That's the steps you have to take. And what happens after that? Your CSF is activated by your righteous lifestyle, your spiritual discipline, and your speaking Makaru from the heart. When you become honest and transparent, you become a Makaru speaker. You have no reason to be deceitful, no need to lie, no need to be dishonest with people. Simple. I reached that level and it's fun. Why? I ain't got to remember what I said to who. No, I ain't got time for none of that. Just tell you the truth and I keep it moving. The book, that book, the Bible, in acronym, basic instruction before leaving Earth. Now we knew 10,000 years ago we was leaving here. We tried to set the foundation to give you no idea, concept of where you're going after here. But no, you want your own book, you want your own way, so you got your. But if you giving instructions on we're leaving, where they going, and where the concept come from, whose idea was that? Basic instruction before leaving Earth. Sounds good, 50K. But if you ain't believing there's an afterlife, if you ain't living to be part of that afterlife, the Bible has no use to you. So Christians and anybody else who follow that concept understand that. What's this? Okay, next one. Oh, basic instruction before leaving Earth. Your job should be to learn what that means. No, that's it. Okay, tidbit. Last one. When your CFS reaches the 7th level, and that's above the 6th level, which is your third eye level, pineal gland, the 7th level, the chakra, is outside of you. That's why you got 1,000 times full. When that Christos is pure and it goes up, it's 1,000 times full. And guess what you get from the ancient concept? It's 1,000 lotus plants blossoming at one time. I said it was like an explosion. Same thing. Sometimes you can describe it to the best of your ability. That's mine, okay? When your CFS reaches the 7th level, and that's going to happen, oh, yeah, it goes off like that, like skyrocket, like Disneyland, okay? Just goes off. And when that happens, you will become Heru too, aka Christ-like. Hope you enjoyed the lesson, but that's what it's all about. Being your best self, becoming Christ-like. But being the hero in you is really being Heru. That's what I do for you. Get you to be Heru.